Turf Talk with Drew Miller.
Welcome to Tiger Turf Talk. We're excited to be partnering with the Toro company to kick off an all-new summer series focused on their upcoming Grounds Leadership Academy happening in June. Over the next 10 weeks, we will be releasing podcasts following Drew's road trip to Minneapolis and back, where he will be meeting with grounds professionals across the country. Please join us as we talk about their careers, the properties they manage, and their favorite Toro equipment. This episode of Tiger Turf Talk is brought to you by the Toro Company. For over 100 years, the Toro Company has been a leader in innovative solutions for turf maintenance. Through a strong network of professional distributors, Toro proudly offers a wide range of commercial-grade equipment. Visit Toro.com to explore their full lineup of products.
All right, welcome back to the Grounds Leadership Podcast Tour here at the headquarters of Toro. We are here at the Grounds Academy, day one, right? We are with Josh Jans, the marketing manager for Sports Field and Grounds, and everybody knows Boyd Montgomery, the regional manager for North America for Sports Fields and Grounds. So, how are you guys doing? How do you feel about the event so far? It has been incredible from my vantage point, for everything that we've done. So what are you guys thinking? And
it's been an awesome event so far. I mean, we've got a great group of people here, and the engagement and the dialogue that we're seeing from the customers over. The topic today was sort of themed leadership, and I think. Everybody's been engaged from the keynote at the start,
for sure,
and it's been great to see this interaction with the group.
Absolutely,
yeah, I would agree. I would say the engagement's been the biggest thing so far. You get a group of this size together, and just making sure that everybody's having a good time. They're part of the conversation. I think the panels have been incredibly interactive, which has been really helpful. That's been a big deal. Thank you for being part of our panel.
Again, I don't know why I was chosen, but I appreciate it, and it's been awesome for sure.
Yep. You've definitely had some great answers, and it really helped the conversation.
So I appreciate that. I try,
Yep.
But yeah, day one's almost in the books here.
I mean, it's been awesome, and what you guys should commend yourselves on is the group that you guys created. Right. There are so many different areas and so many different people that it's just such a cool group. And the people that you'd be able to meet for the first time, the people that you sort of seen from afar for a long time, you're meeting for the first time, and then just good friends that you just know, Right. So I sort of want to get into that process for you guys. Obviously, just sort of planning out something that, again, I was talking with Matt. I was like, this really isn't something that's necessary to do. Toro is a brand that's just so well known, and we all love it already. Why do anything for us, right? Yeah. So, and again, not in a bad way, but what was the process? This is the first year of the Grounds Academy, Leadership Ground. Sorry, I'm botching the name. Apologies.
No worries. The Grounds Leadership Academy.
Grounds Leadership Academy, guys. Remember that.
No, I'll go back. We've been at the Toro Company. We've been doing a customer event. Going back probably 20 plus years, and it's had various names over the years. Started out as sort of the professionals club, and then we turned it into the SF&G forum for a number of years, and those events were great. We got a good cross-section of customers that would always attend it. But the challenge is and the way we approach all this, we want to learn from our customers. That's really the key when we bring customers in. Understanding sort of what are their pain points, what are their problems that they're dealing with, and to be able to get 35 people in the room and have conversations around that, it's a tremendous value to us. So why do we bring people to Toro? It's because we want to understand some of the problems, the dilemmas that they're fighting, and our engineers, our marketing folks that they will be engaged with over this event, listen deep, and they listen,
Absolutely.
Real deep to understand that problem. So when they're looking at product development, when they're looking at, where do we need to go with certain spaces, they have that probably broader picture, truer picture of where they need to focus their efforts.
And I think that's what's so incredible about Toro. There are so many people that build a product and just what you get is what you get, like we'll make tweaks along the way when we feel like the need is necessary. But from the product manager that I talked to the reps and everyone, there's always an evolution of trying to figure out what's next and what's best, for you. And what is really cool, some of the product managers I've met have 15 years experience, whether that's golf or sports fields or whatnot. So they have all of that information that they can take from their experience and say, hey, I completely understand where we're going with this, but there's a couple things that I would recommend based off of what I experienced, whether that's the new technology coming out, how is that going to impact how certain spaces operate. I think that's just what's so incredible about sort of what you guys have built here, and it's truly incredible. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
not at all.
From your side of everything, getting prepped for the event, everything getting out, obviously we talked, all of us talked a lot early on about being on a panel, which again, thank you. But there are so many things that even the attendees don't understand what go into this event, planning it, having the right times, the scheduling and all that. And it's awesome. What is that like? Sorry.
Yeah, for us, I mean, you guys kind of hit on it a little bit, but the cross section of folks that are here is really important, right? We have everybody from K through 12 to, higher ed, municipality spaces. We have, groups from pro sports, and you don't always have a space for those groups to really get together and talk about the industry. And, there's so many things that everyone's facing, but they may not really always see what's happening in these different segments within the industry. Right?
For sure.
So I think that the thing that's been really impactful over, this first day is just having that interaction of folks of like, well, this is what I'm seeing here at my municipality, and this is what I'm seeing here at my pro sports team, and the interaction of like, well, we're facing a lot of the same problems. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about how, maybe you have a solve for something that I'm going through. And that was really important for us for this event in itself. So as Boyd and I were talking about it, we really wanted to get the right folks in the room to really have that engagement across, but also we wanted to give back to the industry and making sure that there's educational sessions that you all can walk away from I really took something away from Toro than more than just, hey, I got to ride a mower or I got a utility vehicle.
No, for sure.
Yep. The one thing I will add, a lot of our previous events really were probably a little bit more focused around product, and rightfully so, because we'll give folks a peek behind the curtain when they come to these type of events, and sort of get that initial feedback. Is it on the right track? Is it something that resonates with them? Those type of things.
For sure.
This event, we really wanted it. Really wanted education to be the key takeaway for the attendees. They'll see some products and they'll see some,
still get to have the fun.
Some neat things that,
for sure.
Are coming down the road. But, for the most part, this is an event that, when they leave here, at the end of the event on Thursday, I hope they feel like they got some education out of this, and they've got a new network of peers that they can pick up the phone and call when they have questions. And
for sure.
We talked about that a little bit earlier today too, is just that relationship piece, right? That network, as Boyd was talking about, walking away with, hey, I met somebody on a pro sports team, or I met somebody in a different municipality, and you have a new network of folks that you can reach out to and call on for, hey, I'm going through this issue, right? And I think that's a really big piece of why I'm here at Toro, is just the relationship piece. Right, it's much more than just selling red steel. It's about creating relationships for your customers, but also solving problems, as Boyd mentioned, and that's why it's exciting to have events like this.
Yeah. So I've talked about it with a few people because it's such a unique event. Why leadership? That's something that we as an industry don't. It's not highlight, but embrace the significance of. It's something that's so critical that we don't ever take a step back and say, is it me? Is it my leadership that is causing the problem? Is it something that's going on with our crew? Why leadership, and why this event do you guys think is so critical to focus in on that?
Yeah, I think it, I can't remember if Jeff said it this morning or what, but when you look at the customers that are in the room, they're all leaders. and they all wear the leadership hat if they don't want to recognize it or not.
Yeah.
So I think what you find with events like this, it's getting a better understanding of not only what are some of the components and attributes of leaders, but how do I start to look internally at myself and get a better understanding of how that fits me. And, there was a ton of different conversations going on today around different aspects that, I'm sure a number of the folks that were in the room were sitting there going, am I that way? Am I doing it that way?
The reflection.
I can reflect on some of that stuff, and maybe if they walk away from here and say, I need to focus on that to maybe change a little bit to better my team. That's a home run to me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And sometimes you get so stuck in your day to day, right, that you don't recognize that there's opportunities for leadership in everything that you do. I think giving the opportunity to really shine a light on some of the work everyone's doing and seeing how they are leaders in their work and with their teams and all of the people that they work with, not only with their direct reports, but even leadership across their management team or any of the other stakeholders that they work with.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an important thing to put into practice and shine a light on, and hopefully they'll get some skills coming out of this too that they can bring back to their municipality or their school.
Definitely didn't learn from me, but yeah, definitely.
Don't sell yourself short.
So planning something like this out, there are so many incredible things that we're doing. The Twins game last night was incredible. It was funny when I was reading the schedule and I got to talk with we're going to the Vikings facility here in a bit. I'm like, what? It's this what is it?
TCO.
TCO. Yeah. I'm like, I'm just assuming that's a room in the building, right? What do you guys really focus in on when you're planning this? Want you guys want it to be an event that people, cherish. And these are things that are making it so simple to cherish, What is sort of that planning process like for you guys and getting everything
starts real early in the year. Let's put that way. So,
I'm sure.
I think the way we look at this is again, today we had a lot of education. You were able to see a little bit of product and talk to some of the Toro folks. But every day we wanted to have something that wrapped up where it gave the attendees the opportunity relax, network, have conversations that maybe, talk about a topic that they were, they heard them talk about today or something like that. So, the event tonight at TCO, I think, at least I remember back in my days, it was just always great to go see somebody else's facility.
Absolutely.
There's always little tidbits you can take away from it. And then also to enjoy just a wonderful meal that the TCO group puts on. It's awesome. Going to be a fun night.
That's incredible.
Well, I know, I think it was last fall, Boyd came over and he said, hey, I want to talk about the forum for next year. I'm thinking about rebranding it. I'm thinking about making it a slightly different event than we've done in the past. And he kind of ran this idea of really pulling in the education pieces, really focusing on, meeting the need across, multiple segments within what we consider grounds, right? And we really were able to think through that. We met as a team, came forward with what we felt was going to be a really big opportunity in more than just, showing off product, which we love doing.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
We were saying just really bringing that education piece forward and really bringing leaders across the industry together. And that framework started to kind of come together, and Boyd ran with it to our leadership team and did a great job pitching it, and they got behind it in a big way. And we were able to put the details together here over the winter and spring, and we're really thrilled with how it's come together. We had great reception from folks. We did some advertising and threw some things out there to draw some attention to it, and we got great reception. A lot of people calling up and showing interest in it. And so we're really thrilled with the group we have here, and we hope we can maintain this and keep the excitement going year in and year out.
Yeah, we want to build on where we're at, and
it's already incredible. Where can you go? It's exciting to hear.
I think we started. This was the first year that we actually had it where customers could apply to attend.
That was my next question. I thought that was so cool when I heard that that's how you get into it. I was like, wait a second, that's awesome.
Yep. And so, we're going to continue to build on that.
Yeah.
I think to give people opportunities to attend the event. We want a diverse customer segment. So,
For sure.
When we initially launched the applications this year and got, I think it was 25 applications in the first week of having it live, I was like, whoa.
Reel it back in.
So it was I guess reassuring for us that we probably have something here.
And what's really cool about that is you guys are ensuring that you have people here that want to be here.
Yeah.
Because that, like you were saying, the panels this morning, having people interact, they want to be here. They want to learn, which just makes the event that much better, in the future, with obviously going forward with the applications and all that, how has it been sort of seeing here today and obviously what we're doing the rest of the week? How is that going to sort of influence moving forward with the event for people that are listening that might be interested in trying to attend in years to come,
Yeah, I think the one thing that we heard years ago when we were doing the forum, and it was somewhat frustrating, is that, some folks wanted to come, but their institutions wouldn't let them come because they thought, well, it's a Toro, it's a boondoggle, it's Toro talking about Toro. I hope that, as we have, our guests this year walk away from it, they're going to walk away from it. Yeah, it was at Toro, but it was an educational event. They learned and, they learned from. And I think that's what's going to help build this is that while you're here at Toro and you're in our facilities,
obviously,
we're here to help, help you learn on leadership, We were the agenda, if you looked at it, had sort of key
absolutely
for the event. Leadership was today. We're doing innovation tomorrow.
It's going to be awesome.
Marketing on Thursday. So it's more of the business skills that I think really benefit all our customers that are attending. And I've always, I was a practitioner at one time and came over to what they term the dark side. But,
Sure.
The reality is that it doesn't matter where you sit. Everyone's in sales, and everyone has to understand that business.
100%. Yeah, because when you talk about a facility, you have to be able to please your stakeholders, understand that your relationship outside of your grounds crew is almost as important as in the grounds crew. Your higher ups. It's what's incredible about this event is it's understanding that there's so much more significance to those relationships and being able to have a positive relationship, whether you're talking with Travis or Tanner or people who, again, firsthand deal with their front offices on a daily basis, understanding the significance of their role there, bringing that back to, say, high school like me, understanding administrators are hard, and it's not always roses, everything's perfect. So those are the things that I think it's so significant about this event that I think so many people are going to take back. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Not at all. One of the fun things that I get to do over the entire event is we're going to be capturing content, right? And so we're going to be doing a lot of photos. We're going to do some video testimonials and things to really help kind of bring this event to life to the folks that are interested and will be interested in the future. So we think about next year, we're going to have a lot more content to share out there to really get people excited about what is this thing? What is happening at Toro, and should I apply? So we're hoping to capture, like I mentioned, some testimonials towards the end of the week, and doing things like this as well.
I've got a list. I've got a list of guys for you.
Perfect.
Yep. I've been taking notes for you. I'm like, all right, these are the guys we got to get.
You're more than a panelist, Drew.
Okay. There's just a little bit more.
Right. But all those things are going to help to really tell the story of what this event is, right? And
absolutely.
We can put that stuff out in the world and really kind of drive home that message, and really hopefully push more applications for next year and bring in a whole new group of folks as well.
Absolutely. Now, something that I think has been very common talking with all of the Toro folks that are here, whether it's product managers or whatnot, is culture. And I think that the fact that Toro has such a strong culture and it lends such a hand to what you're trying to achieve with this event Could you sort of speak to that culture and how you guys have been a part of it and what it's meant to you, really, to be able to showcase that in a way, but really just bring that full circle to people like me who, again, are trying to come and hear and learn how to develop a culture like this?
Yep. Yeah, I will say I'm 18 years today, actually, with the company.
Congratulations. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Parking spot to come.
That's another 7 more years.
That was one of the first things we talked about when we walked in. We walked in. He's like, "There's a rule of 25 years, you get a parking spot." You know how many people we have here that have 25 years? There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Which speaks to the culture, which is really why I brought it up. So,
and hence, that's the thing. I mean, folks that generally come to Toro, the culture that is ingrained here is just unbelievable. And, you look at it, it's really an organization. A lot of businesses don't get to 109 years old.
No, not usually.
Really having a good foundation on the culture side,
for sure,
and being able to be adaptable as the industry changes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about a company that we could have stuck on just building red iron and not really embracing technology or any of that kind of stuff, and I bet you we would have been out of business. But we're always looking at how we innovate. How do we continue to challenge ourselves, if it be with new product or if it be with processes internally here at Toro, to make sure that we're staying relevant, and we're looking at that innovative approach as we go forward. One of the things that we look at internally is we have a vitality index for our products, and I believe it's 35% of our products that we sell in a 3-year period have to be brand new products. Mm-hmm. So when you look at that type of a setup, you have to be innovating. You can't just be sitting on your laurels.
Yeah, no,
saying,
for sure.
Yeah, we made it with this.
We're good. We're going to ride the forged deck forever, right?
Yeah, so, I think that type of a mindset, we have a lot of, I would say, and we talked about it today in the leadership thing. It's like a big family.
Mm-hmm.
We're a really big family.
It's a very large one. There's a lot of parking spots. I will be honest.
But that's what I think a lot of people look for.
Yeah.
There's a ton of companies that you can go to work for and probably get paid well to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you're probably miserable because you're in a maybe a culture that is adversarial, or they're arguing. Yeah, I mean, it's just something that maybe that won't. It doesn't really create a good culture as you go forward. Here, I mean, and don't get me wrong, we can object.
There's sometimes when there's adversaries.
We can have some arguments, but
that's healthy, though.
I think what is nice about our culture is at the end of the day, when we walk out of the door, we have a common goal and a common theme that we're marching to, and everybody's behind it. So.
Absolutely.
And for me, I mean, I've been at Toro for just over 2 years now, and I started during the pandemic. So when I started, people were still working from home, and it was a completely different space. But from a culture standpoint, it's really well known that Toro is about its people, right? And when Boyd says it's a family, it really is. Everyone's really focused towards one goal, and we work together really cohesively. But you can tell they hire for a type of person. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's what really drew me to Toro, and I was really excited to be able to join this company. And I'm 23 years away from a parking spot. Yes. Cannot wait.
I will be here when that happens.
Maybe you can get one gifted to you.
I will come up here for the ceremony. I got a ribbon and everything.
But it was such an amazing thing, though. When I started, I had heard so much about the culture of Toro, and even with everyone working from home, I was so quickly embraced by the team. Mm-hmm. Boyd's team, they have a weekly call, and they added me on right away, and I got to know all the guys on the team really quickly, at a personal level too. And that's something that was really impactful to me, as well as our product team. Everyone engages so easily together and works so easily together because they're so focused on one goal, and it's really that servitude to the customer and solving those problems, right? And Having come from another industry into this, it was a change, but it was a really welcome change because of that culture.
Absolutely.
One thing that we speak to as well is just how much we focus on the community around us. So I love that the fact that it's only been 2 years, but I've been able to do a lot of volunteerism and a lot of things where I'm out and working on field rebuilds and things like that. I mean, how fun is that?
Yeah.
That was one of the things I was craving. I was like, man, I just want to get back outside. And this job has gotten me more outside in the last 2 years than I think I sat behind a desk for the 10 years prior. So Toro has been a fabulous transition. I owe so much to the culture of this place.
Absolutely. Now, Sports Fields and Grounds has so much going on. There's a lot of products being put out this year to come. What are some of the things in the past few years that you've really enjoyed working on? Obviously, the Field Pro 6040 has been the up and coming thing that's just really awesome to see. A new and innovative product, like you're saying, always looking for that next step. Right. What have been some of your favorite things in recent years, sort of leading up to this event that you've worked on?
Too many.
Yeah,
we want to hear it.
There's a ton of them, but I think you hit it on the nail. I mean, we launched a 6040 last year, and unfortunately, with the supply chain and all the wonderful availability issues, it sort of got delayed.
Yeah,
it came out late. But that project had sat around at Toro for numerous years before we were able to get it over the hurdle to bring it to market. So to see those type of things where you work on a project like that and it gets over the hurdle and now it's out for mass consumption is cool. We're going to be bringing actually, I think next month, a vehicle to the market called Vista, and I've been
not a golf cart, people. Remember that we're gonna mess with Marissa, but it's not a golf cart.
But I've been on that project team since the inception, and
that's awesome.
To be able to see it come from concept to all the different stage gates that it has to go through for approval to even get to a point where we're going to say, okay, we're all in. Let's push the chips in. We're going to go to market with it. It's been unbelievable, and now it's sort of like when we were having kids. It's giving birth. Now we'll see
let's see how we do, babies.
Let's see how it goes.
We can do this,
right?
Yeah.
Boyd hit on two of my favorites. I think the Vista is super exciting to really round out our vehicle portfolio, right?
Yeah.
Like that, it's a really great product. We've already been able to get out at some really big customers and have some fun, build some content out. But I would say just in the last 2 years as well, like the UTX, our 4x4, which is a fantastic vehicle as well, really built for work. That thing has been a blast, and seeing those things out in the wild now, the 4 passengers look so cool.
Everybody get on, let's go.
Throw a plow on the front if you're in those northern states. And then also we're introducing electric, and that's a really big piece of things.
The big step,
we announced our electric E3200, our Groundsmaster 3200, our electric version, back at SFMA, and you'll see more of that kind of coming this fall as well. And just to make that transition as customers are needing more of that electrified product, that's something we're really focused on, and it's really cool to see that technology come to life and what we're doing with our own battery power, so the hypercell batteries that we've developed, and you'll see some of that in the next couple of days at our facility.
Hearing it from the product managers and then being able to go see it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, so those are probably the ones that stand out the most. Yeah.
So coming from the marketing side of things, you've done some really cool things with just the Vista. We don't have to talk about it, but some of the things that you're doing with the content of trying to push this out. What does that process look like for you guys when it comes to this is how we think this will play out the best, and maybe this idea is good, this idea is not? What are you guys focusing on sort of when you get a new product and you're pushing it out to people like me who are like, yeah, I could probably use one of those,
Well, so in the last year or so, we've really thought about how we market our products, especially from a commercial side of things, a little bit differently. We want to tell the story of the product and how it meets the needs of our customers. So really started with the launch of our UTX product. If you go online and see some of the videos and some of the content we put together, really showcases that product being utilized across municipalities and what it means to to really work across your city, right? And how that product is impactful across multiple different jobs. We did similar things with the Field Pro 6040 and kind of an emotional tie to, I'm more than just grooming a field. This is really making a difference for that little league in my team or that tournament that's coming up, right? And having a little bit more emotional appeal for the work. And then more recently with Vista, one of the things that we're trying out is this new series that we're calling Made to Move, and it's going to these
I love this.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Fun. But we're taking Vista units and we're demoing them with some really big customers, some really fun customers. We started this out with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We were actually out there. We were fortunate to be out there the week before the 500, and they got to test out the product, get a feel for it. They let a variety of different team members take it for a spin and use it for a few days. And then I got to go out there and I drove around with Jason Stewart, the superintendent, and we just talked about, what does it mean to prep for the 500? What kind of uses do you have for vehicles like this on your property?
That's awesome.
And we want to continue to do that. We want to continue to showcase our products being used, solving those problems, and really being a part of your day to day. And telling people stories, quite honestly.
I was going to say, I think that's the coolest part about it is you guys are connecting human beings to your products, because that's what sells. I'm not trying to play a business or anything like that, but like when someone can connect with a person who connects with a machine, yes, it sounds weird, but who can connect with the machine, it's going to sell itself. There's no push, there's no anything. And the fact that you guys are doing that is something that's going to, hopefully change the game for you guys when it comes to sales, even though you guys are probably just fine already. So,
but you hit it, right? The idea of, really putting a person behind the machine or behind the work is really important to us. We did an interview with you, in the last few months of really showcasing all the great work you're doing to really help what is the next generation come up through this industry, getting them prepared and really understanding, how do I use these mowers? How do I take care of a field?
Yeah.
Those are things that are crucial to this industry and super important. And we want to recognize that. We want to bring those stories forward because it is really important. It's really important to make sure people know what's coming, right? And how things are getting done and shine a light on those great stories. So,
absolutely.
The Toro company is known for innovation. For example, the Reelmaster 5010H improves performance and productivity. The industry's first and only reel mower with a true hybrid drive system. Save up to 20% on fuel use while also lowering costs and lowering the vehicle's carbon imprint. Visit Toro's website today to learn more about this revolutionary mower and discover the power of sustainable and efficient grounds maintenance.
We're hoping that we can put more of those stories together. And Drew, we already talked about it today. You're already making contacts.
You need me. I got people.
It's great.
He was asking about a friend of mine who I helped get a program started in California. He's like, "Do you know this guy?" I was like, "Yeah, the guy just sell right here. Send it to him."
That's what this event is about. Networking, right?
Networking. Yeah. So obviously, we're talking a lot about leadership and networking, all these things. I want your guys' personal opinion. You two are the ones that are putting everything on, and we are so grateful to be here. And thank you so much for inviting us. When we talk about leadership, in your sort of own words, what does leadership mean to you, and how significant do you see it sort of in not a workspace at Toro, but just the industry as a whole?
It's huge in the industry. I think when you look at it in the lens of a sports turf manager, a lot of times, I don't want to say we sell ourselves short, but we tend to be the second thought, the third thought, maybe even the fourth or fifth thought sometimes when you talk, about the whole entire organization. And I think, we need to, as an industry, really take more of a leadership approach. And, unless you ask for it, you don't know what you're going to get.
Exactly.
And so, you're just going to be content with where you're at. And that's not really what the industry needs. We need a lot of leaders to step up and really, just build a case for why, sports turf managers for all the different facilities around the U.S. and so it's one of those approaches. I think what leadership means to me, it's very there's a lot of aspects to it. I think, we talked about it this morning, trust, being able to sort of have a foundation and really sort of understand yourself, I think is key. And that makes you vulnerable a lot of times. When you step back and you start looking at that and saying, maybe a little polish over here.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what? I'm probably doing pretty good over here.
Yeah.
So I think leadership in that aspect is important.
And sorry to interrupt. Like what you're saying is like so beyond true, especially in our industry. The work that's done by the professionals and everybody. There's so many people out there that just don't know who they are,
right?
And I think there are leaders in this industry that can really make an impact on bringing that to light.
Yep.
It's part of the reason I do this podcast. It's just we as a whole need to figure out who do we have to have at the table, or what table we need to be sitting at to bring that to light. Because you and I think we've actually had the conversation about it's a memory making business at any level.
Right.
It's not professional. It's not, just colleges. Like we're talking little leagues, and your products are on all those levels. So that's something that I think is truly incredible about Toro and what you guys do, is because you guys are trying to bring light to every single aspect. I mean, motor speedways, nobody actually thinks about that for a second. Like, wait a second, there's grass at motor speedways. Like
absolutely, a lot of grass.
It's something that I think is so incredible. And I want to thank you guys so much for doing this, but leadership for you, I apologize.
Boyd really said it nicely, and I think trust is a huge portion of it, but I also think empowering your team and empowering the people around you. We talked a lot about the culture here at Toro, but empowering your team to do their best work, right? Or empowering them to, be okay with failing forward. And sometimes, right? We talked a lot about that this morning.
I talk about that a lot.
It's so important to have that comfort level and to have those leaders that are, hey, it's okay to try something out, and if it doesn't work out, I have your back.
Yeah.
Right. And being able to really help move forward. And I think that idea of failing forward is such a powerful thing, especially when you're young in your career. I think about your students a lot, right? You told some great stories today.
Yeah, get that F really fast.
Right. And then, you know what? That's all right.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that's the kind of stuff you need people in your life to really be those mentors and to help drive you to find new experiences and to grow your career, whether you're new in your career or you've been in and you're looking for a transition, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've had some great mentors in my life that helped me understand that maybe it is a time for a transition. Maybe you want to try something. I mean, I came from a completely different industry into Toro, and it's been a fantastic move, but it's because of those mentors that I had in my life, right? That helped me think through those things. And so to me, it's mentorship, it's trust, it's embracing your culture and really building upon your own values.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that stuff that we're going to be talking about over the next few days. I know in a day or two here, I'll be doing a presentation on branding within your team and your personal branding, and that'll be really fun just to talk about like what's your perspective of your team, because Boyd was talking about, well, sometimes we're second, third, fourth, we might be the bottom of the barrel, but you have to embrace what value you bring to your organization, to the stakeholders you work with. And I think leadership is all about how do I make sure that I'm advocating for myself, but also for the people that are on my team and the people around me. And we're going to talk a lot about it the next few days. I'm pretty excited to see what the panel and some of the group has to say.
It's going to be great.
It's been fun though. I mean, I think some of the stories you shared earlier were perfect for that leadership, right? And that mentorship. I think about your students and how far they've gone just in that handful of years and the 2 years that I've known you, right?
Yeah.
It's things that I've seen at SFMA, and that's why we love working with you, Drew, is that leadership you have with your students. So keep that going.
I'll try. I'll try to. You were bringing up mentorship, which again, I think is something that, again, carries so much weight in any line of work, For you guys, when you throughout your career, have taken on young individuals and been a mentor to them, what are some of the things that we discussed this morning on our panels, but what are some of the things that you really focus in on when you're talking about mentorship and ensuring that you're getting or you're allowing someone the opportunity to thrive, you know?
You know, and it's funny, you know, when you talk about mentorship, because I think early in people's career, and I could be way off base here, but you know, you don't probably think of it in the scope of mentorship.
Yeah.
Because you're young, you know, you got different thought processes, I would say, at that time. But you know, I think back, and you know, when I was on the turf side, we had a lot of seasonal people that worked for us. You know, we had to build. You know, it's just and it's funny. It's in the same situation that we're in now. We're trying to find people and trying to find reliable people. That existed back then as well.
Yeah.
So you know, you have to really quickly figure out what is that secret sauce to, you know, get people engaged, get them involved, and learn the different probably mindsets of some of your seasonal staff, which that's an investment, right? Because they're maybe there for 6 months and then they're gone. But I remember an individual that worked for me that came on as a seasonal, and he's very young and very raw, and you know, we worked with him for a couple of years, and then we were able to bring him on as
That's awesome.
as an assistant, and you know, he is still there, you know, to this day. And you know, it was, I don't know necessarily at that time I looked at it as mentorship.
Yeah.
But you know, when I actually moved into the role I'm in now with Toro, you know, he wrote me a nice little letter about how much it meant that I was able to sort of spend time with him and really get him, you know, focused in on what he desired and had his passion for.
And that's what I was touching on this morning on the panel. It was like, you don't understand what one moment can be to a kid, you know, like that's so awesome. And it's way better when they recognize that and let you know, you know. Yeah. So that's incredible for you.
And that's what I was going to say is I think just embracing a conversation, right? And allowing yourself to be an outlet for these individuals, right? I think the stories you told about, you know, just being an outlet for their students or your students. And I think that's what I really think about with mentorship is allowing the conversation to have and bringing different perspective. I think over the last handful of years, I've always looked for mentors as I, you know, take on new challenges or new roles. And it's really about, you know, trying to find different perspective of, am I looking at this the right way? Mm-hmm. Is there a different way I should be looking at it? How do I, you know, make sure that I'm taking it all in and going the right path? And sometimes you just need somebody to listen, right? And you solve the problem yourself, but you just have that outlet, that person to speak to. And so I think that's a big piece of it is just creating those moments for folks to talk through it and figure out where they want to go and help them find that path. But also it's those connections and that networking, right? Yeah. We've talked about that too.
That was my next point was networking.
Yeah,
go
just
ahead.
Making sure that you're connecting people where you can.
Yeah.
And you know, that's something that we're really blessed with here at Toro is a really strong network of not only distributors, but customers. And, you know, if there's ever a question that you have or any of our customers have, like, hey, I'm going through this, I'm looking for somebody here, or man, I need somebody to fill this role. We love making those connections. We love being able to connect people and say, yeah, you know what? I know a guy, or we can find you somebody here or connect you with this association. And that's a pretty big deal, having that network to really help, you know, progress people. And we were talking about one of your students last night and how talented they are. And, you know, just making sure that they have the people surrounding them to take those next steps in their career. Because I think about when I was like a 16-year-old kid, if somebody told me marketing was a job, I don't. So the people that call you at night, like marketing.
Am I a telemarketer?
Right, exactly. But, you know, now I'm in a career out of it. So it's one of those things. You just have to have somebody who can help you kind of see a little bit beyond your near term.
Absolutely. And so you touched a little bit on it. I mean, Toro's probably got to have one of the greatest networks ever created in an industry when you look at it face value, right? How have you taken your network and developed things like this over the years to be able to assist those in networking, you know, to sort of share the network that you guys have? What has that been like for you, and how have you seen that sort of played out for industry professionals all over the place, you know?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, networking is a key to any type of relationship building and really furthering on possibilities as you go down the road. You just never know when someone's going to reach out and touch you and say, hey, I've been thinking about you for this position.
Yeah.
Probably will come on a time when you're not even thinking
least
about
expected, right?
Least expected, but they were able to make that connection through a network, right? You made some impression or some experience with them that they were able to take it away and say, back in the back of my head, if we have an opportunity down the road, that's where we're going to go.
Yeah.
So, I think that's that's huge, and we do have a pretty deep network, through the grounds business or golf business. As you look through that,
Any turf area.
I would say it's good to have that.
Yeah.
But I think we always strive to continue to add more to that network and figure out how can we be of assistance. I mean, to I think Josh's point, we could build red iron, but
what you guys do.
we get a lot better, a lot further when we build red iron. We also make connections and we make networks and build those relationships.
Absolutely.
Well, I think too, it's about creative solutions. I know I think back a couple of months ago, Boyd and I were attending an event, and there was a gentleman that we knew was going to be at the event. He reached out to us a couple of weeks before. He said, "Hey, I'm having a challenge with my facility on my field to do this specific thing. Can I just get your thoughts? Like, not necessarily like, does Toro have an exact solution? Like, and if you do, great, but like, maybe you guys can help me come up with a creative solution." We actually connected with him at the event and were able to kind of talk through a couple different options for him and make connections to really, try out a couple different things that might be a solution for him. We didn't have a perfect solve right in that moment, but we were able to think through it, make some connections for him, and hopefully make it a little bit easier. And I think that's the kind of stuff that's important too. It's not always, hey, we're selling you a mower, right?
Yeah.
It's about, hey, let's talk about what's going on and how we can help you.
I have a little poster outside my door that sort of states, and some people get it, some people don't, but the customer really doesn't care about the product. They care about the problem that it solves. So, that's really...
You need it on a T-shirt. I'm telling you. Do big Toro on the front and that on the back. That'll sell like crazy.
Yeah. So, I think that's I look at us and anybody in the building, we try to be problem solvers.
Yeah.
And, sometimes the problem is right out in front of you. It's real easy to figure out. But sometimes that problem is rooted. And
absolutely.
you sort of have to peel back the onion, try to get to what is that root cause to say, okay, how do we figure out a solution?
I love how you said problem solvers, because honestly, turf grass managers like thrive in it. Getting to talk to Ryan at Allianz, got it. Being able to talk to him and just how much he thinks about the problem and how he can solve it and all the things. One of the things you'll hear in his podcast, he talks about his toolbox. And I'm like, that's just a simple idea that it's not only about the Toro tools that he has, but being able to implement them with staff and having the staff members be a tool in that box so that he can have, there's so many things that turf grass managers thrive in. I think one of those things is the challenge, and it's really cool to be able to see that and hear about that. Now, I have a really simple question, but it might be hard. I don't know if that's right. What's your favorite part about Toro? It's simple, but there are so many things that you could probably answer with, and I know.
Simple but hard.
I know.
What's my favorite part about Toro? I think over the 18 years that I've been here, I think it's just the opportunity. Toro, rolled the dice on me when I was in the turf business, brought me on board, and it's not like, okay, you're here and this is all you're going to be. It's how can we ignite that passion
for sure,
and continue to have you grow within the organization.
Yeah,
I think that doesn't exist at a lot of places, I would say.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you get sort of cornered into the wall, and that's where you stay. And so I think it's neat to see a corporation, again, 9 years old, with a a process of say, hey, yeah, you're here, but you're not staying here. You're
I hear
going to
you.
figure out where where your passion is.
Yeah.
And hopefully go.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it. I have to say the people. I mean, it's an awesome place to work, and it's just an attitude, right? Everybody just cares so much about the other people in the room, and I think it's from the top down, right? Our CEO, he's such a personable person. Have a conversation with you. He actually cares about the work you're doing. Like, tell me about projects you're on, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And you don't get that everywhere. And I think that's been really impactful. I would also say, the discount is really nice to get for my own equipment at home.
I just want to let everybody know, listen to this, do not look in the hallway. There is not one less chainsaw, I promise.
Yeah. But no, I think the people piece has been so impactful in the last couple of years. But also, like, man, this segment, this industry that we get to work in is so fun. I mean, I've been here 2 years, and I've gone to stadiums. I've gone to the coolest park systems. I've talked to some pretty amazing people at some pretty amazing events. That's something that I love about my role, and I don't think you can really trade that.
Yeah, for sure. Something that I think speaks volumes to the people and what you guys have here is getting to meet Jack. And his short time here and what his experience has been like and what he's talking about, what he's working on, all of the things that you're just kind of like, this is awesome, and he's excited about it. He knows everybody, and you guys doing that for him, that's just something that we want to see for all sports field managers to do for their interns, and it's a really cool thing to be able to see that firsthand, in such a short time. I met him yesterday, so it's like, it's very hard to say, he's a great kid and he's doing great things.
Although
so
we got to get him to understand that Michael Jordan's better than.
It's very true. We should do a whole episode just on that. And he keeps bringing up, like, there's a generational thing, the game's different. I was like, if LeBron's in the game, and back then he's dead. Like, he's literally on the ground, flopping all over.
You know what? I got to give him credit, though. He held his own.
He
held his own in the conversation.
I would have said, you're right.
As soon as, because immediately there was like 4 guys.
That was just the funniest thing from a distance. He's like, did you actually just say that? I was like, it wasn't me.
But I loved watching. Like, he stood his ground. He's like, nope, let me give you my reason.
Then wait a second.
I was like, well, that's exactly what I want on my intern. That's fabulous.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, that's an awesome thing. So I know I've asked you this question before, and it's something that I do for my kids back at Brentsville, and I love to hear what you have. Obviously, when you first started, there are things that you wish you knew, and obviously there are things that would have helped you in the long run. And there's a mentor or somebody who gave you some advice that just has stuck with you since the beginning, or since whenever that happened. What would that advice be for my kids who are looking to enter the industry, hopefully become a Toro girl or guy,
I think, for me, it's find your passion. If you look at any type of job that you're going to go down, it's a commitment for a long time in your life. And if you're not passionate about it, you're probably going to be miserable. So find your passion, what really drives you. And sometimes that's going to take sitting back and sort of do some internal thinking and really get a true understanding of what drives you. And once you've done that, there's plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to be at a place for decades, right, or you got to do something for decades, you better love it. You better be passionate about it. I said it earlier. I had a mentor, a former manager, who would say, "Fail forward," right? And that's always stuck with me. Is this idea that if you're unsure, just try and see where it goes, right? It may not be perfect. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to not always be perfect. And if it doesn't work out, understand and learn from that and move forward. Don't look back, right? Fail forward. Continue to move forward. And I think that's the biggest thing. And I thought about your story of your one student and her incident, and
I was like, that was probably the easiest one to talk about.
but it's a
like
perfect.
I could have gone with other
No
ones,
names
but that's
were mentioned.
Right.
No names were mentioned.
But it's the perfect example of like, hey, this happened.
yeah.
That's okay. We all make mistakes. Things happen. Learn from it. Understand what you did, and go forward.
Yeah.
Figure out how to progress from there. And I think that has always just stuck with me of like, it's okay. Like if not everything works out, you got to give yourself a little bit of grace.
Yeah.
But learn from it, move forward, and try to make it better the next time.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something that everyone needs to hear. That's both. I mean, passion. It's funny. Everyone always like, why are you a teacher? Like, you've worked at all these cool places and you decided to be a teacher. I'm like, well, I figured out that another passion of mine is education, and that's what I'm doing. So, is there anything else you want to let people know about the Grounds Leadership Academy? Anybody that might be interested in any fun tidbits you want to throw out there before we finish up?
I guess I would just say, look for next year. We're gonna have a bigger splash hopefully next year to make sure that we get folks interested and excited about the event. And I'm excited to be able to build on this and really grow this into something that benefits the customer and hopefully gets us a little bit better picture in some of the problems and they're fighting right now, so we can try to solve them for them.
And I would say similar, look for some of the content that's going to be on Toro social pages, as well as what we'll be doing to, advertise this event next year. You'll be seeing us talk about it at different association events, whether that's NRPA or SFMA or others. So just keep an eye out for that. And we're really excited for the next few days and what this becomes over the next few years.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for all that you're doing to make this happen. Let me be a part of it. It's truly been incredible. I'm super excited for the rest of it. Up until this point, it's been incredible, and
I got to say thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come and participate in it. It's been awesome. You've been a tremendous contributor to it, and like Josh and I have said, it's it doesn't get off the ground unless we have talented folks that are involved with this, and thank you for.
I'm always here for you. So yeah, again, be sure guys to go check out next year for the Toro Grounds Leadership Academy. The applications will go out some point next year. It is a phenomenal experience. I highly recommend you guys come. You're going to meet some incredible people. The Toro people are top notch. You can't get any better than that, and you want to be a part of it. So be sure to check it out and make sure that you are taking the time out of your busy schedules to come and learn from the best. Let's take a moment to acknowledge our sponsor, the Toro Company, and their Workman UTX. The Workman UTX is tough and dependable with the highest payload in its class, rugged design, powerful performance, and unmatched versatility. It gets the job done without compromise. Visit Toro's website to learn more.